Hello everyone, my name is James, if you don't know me, and somehow this comes across your feed. I'm going to talk about something that happened a year ago today. Today is November 22nd, 2025. A year ago, I got a pretty serious injury in my first semester of college, and effectively changed my entire life, like flipped it completely upside down. I don't really know what the purpose of this video is going to be, besides, I guess, telling people that it'll be okay. That's the biggest thing, is sometimes things happen that you really do not see yourself getting through to the other side after something just big happens. Last year I was on a dance team in college, and we were preparing for our showcase, and at dress rehearsal on my last dance in the performance, I landed wrong on my left leg and dislocated my knee. Thankfully it just popped right back in. But I fully tore my ACL, partial tear of my lateral meniscus, had an MCL sprain, bone bruising, and a couple little pulls of some other ligaments. It was pretty devastating, I'll say that, because I didn't get to perform at Showcase, and I didn't get to take part in some of the filmings of the dances I was in, including one of the dances that I was leading that semester. I'm no longer in college, as some of you probably already know. Things got interesting after I got injured. I know this is not something that a lot of people do, for a few reasons. One reason being that most people don't care, and that's okay. I'm not here for people to give me sympathy or whatever about anything. I'm really just here to tell my story and be an advocate for people to know that it does get better. Even if it gets better and then maybe, like me, it'd be like, how long is it gonna last, right? But eventually you have to get to a point where you force yourself to not think like that anymore. After my injury, I had a crazy, mental spiral that has been the majority of my 2025, honestly. And it kind of started shortly after I had a friend that I was close to overdose, and that kind of affected my stress levels for sure. But basically, yeah, I just had a huge mental breakdown and didn't know how I was going to continue with my dreams after that injury, because I'd never been severely injured before. I've never had something like that happen to me, and so having it happen to you at 18 years old, which is where I was at the time, it was pretty insane. And some of you guys know that I have been auditioning for the past 2 years for, entertainment companies and trying to chase my dreams. And I just thought that was kind of over. Obviously, it's been a long journey this year. I had surgery in January 8th. And let me just say, post-surgery depression is real. I was really struggling on the medication, especially. I learned that I already had a pretty loose grip on reality in itself, so the medication did not help me at that time. But I wasn't really aware of that. However, I am going to get into kind of like the deeper stuff now, so if you don't want to continue past this part, that is totally fine with me. I have always had pretty severe issues with my mental health since as far back as I can remember. 12 years old is when the severe stuff started. And I am proud to say that I am almost a full year clean of SH, which I think is the longest I've gone without doing something like that. And I had started therapy in December of last year. I had to start serious therapy after quite a few attempts last year, and it was affecting the people around me. And even to this day, even if I'm not around those people anymore, constantly trying to take responsibility for what I did and the lack of action on my part, because I definitely needed to get help a lot sooner. But I was scared of my issues being real, and that's a real thing. People can be afraid of having real issues, especially with the stipulation of our society that no one cares about your issues. Your issues aren't an excuse for literally anything, even though it can affect a lot of your just daily life in general. And so it makes it really difficult for people to want to come to terms with things that they need to work through. But I was hurting the people around me, so I stopped caring about that. Decided to get help. Now, even though I did start getting help, people didn't believe that I was getting help, and I was almost entirely abandoned at the beginning of this year. And that's just the reality of, honestly, my entire life story. People just leave, but that's okay. I've grown to be comfortable with the people that I'm surrounded with now, and also grown to be more comfortable with myself. And basically, moral of this story, spent the whole year doing outpatient therapy. They didn't have inpatient for men for some reason at the place that I went to. Outpatient therapy for like 3 months. Started medications. I still am in personal therapy, and I've been doing physical therapy all year. And as you guys who follow me have seen, I have been back to dancing for a while. Should I have maybe started later? Yeah. But I was a little too excited to get back into it. But something that I have just taken an unusual amount of pride to is that people can see it, that people can see that, like, I'm not as stressed anymore, because obviously 2025 didn't stop at the mental health stuff. I had to lose a bunch of money and not have a job for a month. But I'm still here. That's the biggest part, I think, is that I am still here. And looking back at especially the first 6 months of this year, I did not think that I would still be here right now. And that's just the complete honest truth. And I think another big thing will be me making it 2026. And continuing to chase after this very, very impossible dream. But it's just the biggest thing. It's gonna be okay. I promise. And you'll look back on it and your mind will just be blown at all the crazy stuff that you made it through. Like Stray Kids said,